That's why I rock with him.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
That's why I rock with JV, man.
JV.
Oh, I love it. Tua turned the ball over, sends my Buffalo Bills to 3-0 in such dramatic fashion. I enjoyed every second of the game tonight. Knowing we're the better team, knowing we are clearly more talented, we let the Dolphins believe they were in the game. And in classic Miami Dolphins fashion, Tua sends a floater to our defense, and we seal the game with a pick. Back-to-back weeks, Tua has done that. We moved to 3-0. We're happy but not satisfied. And the Dolphins, well, they're 0-3. We know what they're about. I made a video about them week 1, and it's only getting worse. We're recapping Thursday Night Football tonight. We're getting groovy with a few cool topics I wanted to bring in that are going around NFL circles right now. We got a great episode in store. Thank you so much for being with me. You know what it is. JV back on the JV Show. I want to remind you this year I am sponsored by my friends over at Big Third Down Shop, who sent me a bunch of sick hats just like this Mafia one you're seeing right now. We do have a giveaway going on right now. Up until Monday Night Football of Week 3, you can enter to try and get 3 free hats. Whichever teams you want. They got a ton of sports fan memorabilia that is tailored to the NFL, obviously. So go and check them out. Big shout out to them for sponsoring me this year. They have so much more on the way, as do I with the show. So keep on doing what you're doing. Like, comment, subscribe, because you're going to want to be along for the ride as we grow and grow and grow here on YouTube. It's been great. I'm enjoying it. And without further ado, let's hop into tonight's events where the Bills, we dominated 31-21, soaring to 3-0. Let's talk some Josh Allen. We got to cherish him, man. I'm watching him tonight. It's truly amazing to see the development, the growth, the quarterback Josh Allen has grown into. You can see the growth in decision-making, in playmaking. His year 1, you could see the raw talent was there, but now that he's almost 30 years old, he's an NFL veteran, he knows what's up. He looks so comfortable out there, and the one thing that stands out to me is the pure decision-making and the ability to avoid the unnecessary turnovers. That has always been a knock on Josh Allen, and now there really isn't anything that you can point out in his game that is a massive flaw. I'm watching tonight, and I'm just thinking to myself, Josh Allen is one of the most talented quarterbacks we've ever had in the NFL. Flat out. There is nobody that can match his size, his physicality, his elusiveness, his playmaking abilities, and can do it on such a consistent basis. Him and Lamar Jackson right now, they are 1A and 1B, just balling at the top of the talent scale. We are watching greatness right in front of our eyes. And you got to appreciate it. And as Bills fans, we can't take this for granted. We got to get a Super Bowl done as soon as possible. Tonight's stats: 22 of 28, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions against the Dolphins. Remember when people used to knock Josh Allen for his turnovers? You could slam that door right back in their face. His peak was at 18 turnovers or 18 interceptions, pardon me, in 2023. Last year, he threw 3 interceptions, and this season so far, nothing. That's incredible. And think about it. He's winning MVPs with average talent around him. Average receiving group. Great offensive line, I'll give him that. Solid running back. James Cook has looked great so far this year. But an average defense, too. The Bills are at best an above-average team, and Josh Allen makes them look extraordinary. It's pretty incredible to watch it happen right in front of our eyes. Josh Allen really is the heartbeat of Buffalo. And it's been like that for a while now. I mean, you want to list out the traits: arm strength, accuracy, playmaking ability, decision-making, clutch factor, physicality, his features, being 6'5" and 240 pounds, and the ability to move the way he does, makes me believe he is one of the best to ever do it. Now that he has his MVP, the only thing that's missing is the Super Bowl, and I believe it is on the way. Bills Mafia needs to pray every single night that we can keep this guy healthy, because Josh Allen is a freaking game changer. There is no significant flaw in his game. There is nothing you can point at and say Josh Allen needs to work on this specifically. Early on in his career, it was his decision-making, but man, has that improved. I'm watching him tonight. He looks so calm and under control in the pocket. He's lethal on the ground with his legs. His arm has gotten significantly better. He's got a cannon of a deep ball, and his decision-making is elite now. It's flat out elite. There's no borderline. There's no maybe it's gotten better. It has absolutely gotten better. He's taken the ball out of harm's way, and he is winning games for the Bills by himself with his decision-making, with his playmaking ability, and it is a fantastic watch. I got to thank Josh Allen, honestly. If we didn't have Josh Allen, holy smokes, I would give permission to every Bills fan to move to another franchise, because we really wouldn't have anything amazing going for us. And as Bills fans, we have struggled. We've gone through it. 4 straight Super Bowl losses. 4 straight losses to the Chiefs in the playoffs. We got to break it out at some point. It's on the way. It has to be on the way. Good things happen to people who wait. I got to believe it. You got to believe it if you're a Bills fan. If you don't, good luck. You're struggling a lot. You're struggling a lot right now, but I believe it. Josh Allen so far has looked great. It has to be his year. It has to be. I'm so looking forward to it. And the great thing is, we still got 5 years of Josh Allen's prime, at minimum, left in Buffalo. We can't take it for granted. We have to capitalize now. If you're Buffalo, you got to win a Super Bowl this year. You got to make it an absolute priority. Go out and make a splash at the trade deadline. Whatever you got to do, the Bills need to make it happen, because this is the moment to do it. As far as the rest of the team goes, like I said, Josh Allen is performing at a high level with very average talent around him. But someone who has stood out specifically this year and in big moments in the past has been James Cook. Feed James Cook the rock. That is how our offense survives. That is our winning formula. That is how we should live and breathe and function as an offense. The Buffalo Bills are at their best when they run the ball with James Cook. It's just flat out truth. Go look at the stats. Go look at the numbers. Watch the games. Our offensive line and our run game is our strong suit. If we can get Josh Allen 25 pass attempts per game, where he can make those his absolute best pass attempts, every single one, and he can focus on it, and he doesn't have to go and play Superman until the moment's really, really big and we really need him, that would be fantastic. I would really appreciate that. Because I've watched Buffalo for so long, and for years we've been leaning on Josh Allen and expecting him to carry us out the mud, but sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes we can't always rely on Josh to do it because our defense falls apart. Even when he puts up 30 points, we need a little bit more. We need to fall back on something, and the run game is exactly that. Tonight's stats for James Cook: 19 carries, 108 yards, 1 touchdown. Like I said, the majority of the success in this Bills offense stems from the run game. When we run the ball, when Joe Brady dials up touches for James Cook, we succeed. And that's the key to success. So we got to keep doing that. We got to feed James Cook 20 to 25 times per game, get him on a heater, get him rolling, alleviate some pressure off the shoulders of Josh Allen, and let him go to work when the moments are the biggest, when we need him to come up clutch, because that's what he does. Josh Allen is a clutch performer. Don't listen to anyone or any stats that tell you otherwise. His performances in the playoffs have been the prime example of clutch. Like, there's no better way to describe it. He is a clutch quarterback when the moments are big. We just need to give him a little bit more to fall back on now. As for the Dolphins, I opened up the episode laughing, and, I saw a comment saying Tua turned the ball over, strikes again, and I honestly laughed out loud. Like, it cracked me up because, I don't think Tua's like the worst quarterback in the league. I don't think you can say that with a straight face. I don't think it's fair to say that because he has shown a little bit of promise at points during his career, but he's not worth $55 million. Like, let's make that very, very clear. And I'm watching the game, and I'm thinking, like, Tua's having a pretty good night, right? Like, he's not turning the ball over, at least until the last few minutes, completing passes, found Tyreek Hill for a TD, found Jalen Waddle. Offense looks a lot better than I expected. And then the inevitable happens. Tua throws another game away. What a night for the Bills. Like, I love it. It was just classic Dolphins style. You make your fans believe that you got a shot, only to throw the game away again. Your $55 million quarterback throws away yet another winnable division game. I feel for Dolphins fans. It's pretty sad. No matter how impressive Tua performs, he always finds a way to disappoint in the brightest of moments. And I don't want to constantly hate on Tua. If he was paid an average quarterback salary, I would expect average production, which for most of the time is what we get. But the problem becomes when we look at his contract, he's being paid $55 million. So I expect $55 million worth of production every single year. A $55 million quarterback's expectation should at minimum be one playoff win. Anything less is a huge disappointment. Their last playoff win, all right, dial in for this. Their last playoff win was in 2000. I wasn't even born yet. I wasn't born. I've never watched the Dolphins win in my life in the playoffs. How unreal is that? This franchise has suffered and suffered and suffered, and they've been living off this high from their undefeated season in 72. I don't really know much about Dolphins history because for the 20 years I've been living, this team has never won in the playoffs. It's honestly crazy. And on a real note, like, the ironic thing, Tua looked really good tonight. Like, there were points, again, during the game, I was like, okay, Tua, all right. Okay, you look pretty good. Yep, you're hitting throws on time. Yep, you're finding your guys. All right. McDaniel's offense, it doesn't look too bad tonight. But then you throw the game away, and it's like, man, you just can't win with these guys. You cannot win with McDaniel and Tua. You just can't. They're not creating a winning formula for this franchise. And the thing about being elite in the league, to be an elite quarterback in the NFL, you have to be great when it matters. Nobody remembers the great performances if you can't close it out with a win. The victors, they're the ones that write history, right? They write the history. You remember the wins and the losses. That's all you care about. The elite quarterbacks have memorable moments. They don't have just great games and they fall apart. They have memorable moments. They perform for the entire span of a game, but when the moments get big, they're there to produce. They hit that second gear that nobody else on the field can match, and they take over. That's what Josh Allen does. That's what Patrick Mahomes does. Tua just doesn't have that ability. Again, he's a fine quarterback. He's fine. But when you're getting paid $55 million per year, you have certain expectations. And when you don't meet those, there are going to be negative comments. And that's where this is stemming from. But again, as a Bills fan, usually keep things unbiased on the pod here, but as a Bills fan, I couldn't be happier. It was a great night. I can't help but smile. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, fans, but that's another loss. We'll see you later in the season. It's cool. These last 2 weeks as a Bills fan, I mean, tough watch against the Ravens. I was crapping my pants, but the Jets and the Dolphins, shit, I'm on vacation out here. I should have cucumbers on my eyes, relaxing, doing a routine with my face, massaging myself. Like, I should be enjoying vacation out here, which I've been doing 2 straight weeks. I love it. Jets, Dolphins, Patriots. We'll sun them soon too. It's nice. It's good living in this division right now. I got to be honest with you. And we deserve it because Brady dominated us for a very, very long time. I want to pivot and talk about 2 more topics tonight unrelated to Thursday Night Football. Week 1, actually, Thursday Night Football, we're going to talk about real quick. We're going to spin back because I don't think I gave enough credit to a specific coach I wanted to talk about. Brian Schottenheimer with the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, I've been very, and I mean very impressed with Brian Schottenheimer. I think he's been incredible. Brian Schottenheimer deserves way more praise than he's getting. He's done an excellent job through the first 2 weeks of football coaching America's team. And you really have to look at how they've performed and the teams that they've gone up against, Philly and the Giants, 2 divisional teams, and watch their performances. And you got to say to yourself, you're impressed. You are fascinated. A lot of people wrote this team off, and Brian Schottenheimer has coached up 2 really solid games. Realize that he has had every excuse in the books to fail. Brian Schottenheimer has every single excuse to fail. Jerry Jones, no Micah Parsons. Everyone is watching every detail of this team, waiting for it to fail year in, year out. He shows up week 1 and coaches them within 4 points of the defending Super Bowl champions. The team doesn't take too many penalties. There aren't any big coaching blunders. You're good with clock management. And then in week 2, the Cowboys fight and claw, climb back from deficits, and win a hard-fought divisional game in overtime. Like I said, no huge coaching blunders. He's fired up with his team after their wins. I've gained a ton of respect for Brian Schottenheimer, and I'm sure lots of Cowboys fans have as well. What he's done so far, the way he's managed this team, the way this Cowboys team has fight, because remember, a lot of people wrote this Cowboys team off. They thought there was no shot they even came close to a playoff picture. They could. Now, a lot of credit goes to Dak Prescott and the job he has done returning from a season-ending injury at his age to come back and look like his best version of himself in a very long time. He's been phenomenal. But Brian Schottenheimer deserves a lot more respect than I think he's getting right now. And I want to say this while it's hot because one bad game, one coaching miscue, and people are going to be on his ass. That's the tough thing about coaching for the Dallas Cowboys. There's no winning. There really isn't. It's the same thing in Philly. It's the same thing in San Francisco. You really don't have a long leash with the fans, I would say. The organization might hold on to you for a while. Like Shanahan's been in San Francisco for a while now. He's made some mistakes, but they're rocking with Sirianni, Schottenheimer, McCarthy, all these coaches. You lose a few big games, you make a few mistakes, and you're getting eaten alive by that fan base, right? So credit to Brian Schottenheimer. I want to give him his praise before things go south if they do with the Cowboys, but I will say the Cowboys have been super impressive so far this year, and I want to attribute at least a portion of that to the job that Brian Schottenheimer has done. I think it's incredible, and I'm looking forward to what he can do in the future with this Cowboys team. Final thing I wanted to touch on, Ashton Jeanty, the Las Vegas Raiders. So I made a few takes earlier on before the season started about the Raiders and Jeanty, and I have not talked about them since. And essentially what I said prior to the season, you can go and look back, is that Ashton Jeanty, the talent, I'm sure, is amazing. And we've seen it on film, and he can produce in the NFL. You're coming out of college as a top recruit for the league. You evidently have the talent to compete and the physicality. I just don't think, and I didn't think at the time, and I still don't think that the Raiders were the right landing spot, and it was the right pick for them. Like, I have thought ever since that pick was entered that it was wrong. Picking Ashton Jeanty was a mistake, and it's not even his fault. That's the tough thing. It's not on Ashton Jeanty. You bet on a rookie running back to succeed behind no offensive line. The Raiders deserve what they're getting right now. Like, they wanted dessert before they got their veggies. You know what I mean? You know the classic saying, you got to eat your meal, you got to eat your veggies, and then maybe mom will give you a dessert. The Raiders went straight to the cherry on top. And they forgot you got to build an offensive line. You got to build a defense. You got to get a quarterback that can get you to the playoffs before you get a running back, before you invest in an elite talent at running back. Because running backs are a luxury. They're not a necessity. How many times am I going to say this? And the crazy thing to me, I always go back to the whole Jim Harbaugh situation, drafting Joe Alt, cutting against the grain, not going for a receiver or a skill position when fans were calling for it. The Raiders crumbled under the pressure from the media and the fans and drafted Ashton Jeanty when they had bigger needs. Yes, the run game was terrible, but drafting an elite running back when you don't have the support system for him to produce makes no sense. Even if Ashton Jeanty breaks out and has a phenomenal rest of his season, finishes as a Pro Bowler, it will mean nothing when in 4 or 5 years he is on a contender fighting for a Super Bowl just like Josh Jacobs. We've seen it happen again and again and again. Teams that are suffering can't go out and spend draft capital or money on elite running backs. It doesn't make sense. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying run games are unnecessary and you don't need them to win. I don't believe that. I think if it wasn't true in the past, it's very true now. Run games help you so much when it gets to the playoffs. When it's cold outside in January and you're fighting in Buffalo to win a game, you need a good run game to win in this league. You don't necessarily need an elite running back, but it definitely helps, and it can get you to a Super Bowl. I think a guy like Derrick Henry is helping the Ravens right now. I think CMC has done that for the Niners. I think Josh Jacobs will do that with the Packers. I think Saquon Barkley did it for Philly last year. Like, we've seen it time and time again. A good running game, not just a good running back, but a solid run game can take you very far in the NFL. But there's a time and a place for everything. When you have questions on the defense, when you have questions on the O-line, when your quarterback isn't a top 12 or a top 15 guy, it makes no sense to go and draft Ashton Jeanty when eventually he will move on to a team that will use him and win with him. So let me make this very clear. This is not me bashing Ashton Jeanty, the player. I just don't agree with the fit in Las Vegas. And teams just don't learn. You build the team first, then you grab the elite running back as the finishing touch. Not the opposite. You don't go the other way. You don't go elite running back and build the team. Because once, you finally made it, your running back's asking for a monster contract and he ends up going somewhere else where the contender sweeps him off his feet, takes him, and uses him to win a Super Bowl. So far this season, Ashton Jeanty's got like 80 yards on the year. The offensive line is brutal. He can't do anything. It's not even his fault, which is why I feel bad. And I hate to say I told you so, but so many people were in love with the pick because Jeanty's a generational talent. Unfortunately, that doesn't always translate to the NFL. You can't just bet on a generational talent and not provide support, especially when you're a position that relies heavily on another position group, running back and offensive line, receiver and quarterback, I find. Unless you're an absolutely elite receiver, you can make it out, but still, like Chase is going to do better with Burrow than he's going to do with Browning. So, anyways, I digress. I'm sure Ashton Jeanty will have a great career in the NFL. I just don't think it was the right move for the Raiders to draft him at 6. That is a wrap on Thursday Night Football Recap. Thank you so much for joining me. Once again, if you haven't already, what are we doing? Go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, do your thing. Go check out my friends over at Big Third Down Shop. We got great things on the way. We actually got a little JV show line on the way with them, which is awesome. Hopefully get you guys some merch. And as always, we are filming Sunday after the afternoon game, so I will see you then. Stay safe, have a wonderful night, and I'll catch you soon. Peace out.